I think we're going to get going with the concert. Yes.
You wanted to go. This lady.
That's Betty Choriz.
She died just 2 years ago.
Yes, that's right, just 2 years ago.
Yeah, she used to come
at a big apartment down in the village.
Yes, that's right.
Yes.
Yeah, she did. Yeah.
Oh.
We're on. That's Charlene and an artist called Ashley Bryant. Yeah, so that's Charlene Marshall. Yeah. I need to make an announcement. Mesdames et messieurs, bienvenue à la petite église française du Saint-Esprit pour notre concert de Lane Bradburry. It's a real pleasure to welcome everybody online and here in person as well. I know more people will be joining us very shortly from the reception upstairs. Lane has very generously offered to give us this fantastic concert. It's a perfect day for it since it's All Saints' Day. And one of the things that Lane is going to be singing about is memories, and ones that we hold so precious and so dear. And I can tell you that music and song is one of those places that can transport us the most rapidly into the happiest times of our life, to conjure up memories of those that we have loved and sung with even in the past. So thank you, Lane. Welcome back on the concert stage at Saint-Esprit, not just on the flower arranging stage or on various other stages that you occupy for us. Welcome back to Lane. Merci.
We must remember these moments so true. We must remember these moments of love that are found being here with you. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for being here to celebrate 70 years of performing for me. It's an absolutely crazy business, but I couldn't stay away because I loved it so much. And I have loved it since I was a little tiny girl in Atlanta, Georgia. When I was 5 years old, I saw my first ballet. I was at a gala and it carried me away. The whole world was magical as I watched them dance. It only took a moment to begin my new romance. Those fairies and elves, how they seemed to fly above. My heart fluttered like wings, and then I knew I was in love. Oh, to be a fairy princess, to leap and jump and fly, perform a perfect pirouette and pretend to touch the sky. It filled my life with joy, my imaginary stage. At my den, in my home, at such an early age, I'll have an orchestra, and I'll be dancing in my ballet dress as the spotlight shines on me, and I'll be a huge success. The morning appeared, and my mom drove me to class to begin my new adventure. I knew nothing could surpass. Oh, to be a fairy princess was my private fantasy. morning appeared, and my mom drove me to class to begin my new adventure. Nothing could surpass. Oh, to be a fairy princess, and someday I would shine. If I could be a fairy princess, that title would be mine. Oh, to be a fairy princess. Well, in all this time I've seen a lot, and I've learned a lot. When you are as old as I, my dear, and I hope that you never are, you will woefully wonder why, my dear, through your cataracts and catarrh, you can squander away or sequester the drop of a precious year. But when your best days are yester, the rest are twice as dear. What good is a field on a fine summer night if you sit all alone with the weeds? Or a succulent pear if with each juicy bite you spit out your teeth with the seeds? Before it's too late, stop trying to wait for fortune and fate you're secure of. For there's one thing I'm sure of, mates, there's nothing to be sure of. Oh, it's time to start living, time to start taking from this world we're given, time to take time, for spring will turn to fall in just no time at all. I've never wondered if I was afraid when I had a challenge to take. And I've never thought about how much I weighed when there was still one piece of cake. Maybe it's meant the hours I spent feeling broken and bent and unwell. But there's no cure so heaven sent as a chance to raise some hell. Oh, it's time to start living, time to start taking from this world we're given, time to take time, for spring will turn to fall in just no time at all. It's just coffee. When I was 12 years old, my parents gave me a pony. I named her Bradburry. She was my best friend. I would pretend that we were in a film together. I would gallop her across our huge front lawn, and then a wicked cowboy would shoot me. I would fall off. She would just drop her head and graze. I would somehow drag my wounded body back up onto her back, and lo and behold, another wicked cowboy would shoot me, and the film would start all over again. Years later, I was cast in an episode on Gunsmoke called Outlaw's Woman, and I was the woman. And the script said that I got shot and fell off the horse. Hallelujah, at last. So I arrive on the set, and Mark Rydell, the director, said, "Lane, you don't have to worry about the stunt. We have a stunt girl for Oh, I'm not worried about that. I can do that stunt. I've done that stunt 1,000,000 times off my pony's back in Atlanta, Georgia. Lane, if you get hurt, the whole production has to shut down. But I won't get hurt. I have done this stunt 1,000,000 times, and I have never, ever, ever gotten hurt. Lane, if you do the stunt girl won't get paid." All right, places. I took my horse down the hill, and action. I I galloped my horse up the hill. I heard the shot. I fell forward onto my horse's neck until I hit the ground and cut. Dead silence. All right, stunt is up. Stunt girl came and got on my horse, took my horse down the hill, and action, galloped my horse up the hill, heard the shot, fell forward on the horse's neck until she hit the ground. Cut. Bravo, 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 bravo. I was nobody's favorite that day, but I just couldn't help it. I had practiced too long and too hard to let this opportunity go by. Plus, I'm a little bit stubborn, and that was something that my parents really just had to deal with. But when I was 15, I had a date with a boy named Eddie. The first moment I saw him through my screen porch door, and I fell instantly and forever in love. Take my hand. I'm a stranger in paradise, all lost in a wonderland, a stranger in paradise. If I stand starry-eyed, that's the danger in paradise. For mortals who stand beside an angel like you. My parents adored Eddie because overnight I transformed from a rebellious teenager into an angel whose feet never touched the ground. Love is a many-splendored thing. It's the April rose that only grows in the early spring. Love is nature's way of giving a reason to be living. The golden crown that makes a man a king. Once on a high and windy hill, in the morning mist, two lovers kissed and the world stood still. Then your fingers touched my silent heart and taught it how to sing. Yes, true love's a many-splendored thing. One day, Eddie and I went into this little general store. We sat down in a dusky little corner and ate our peanut butter crackers and Cokes. A young African-American man came in. He headed toward the counter, but the burly redneck behind the counter, with hate in his eyes, said, "Hey, black boy, you see that sign out there? There's no nigger thing here." You've got to be taught to hate and fear. You've got to be taught from year to year. It's got to be drummed in your dear little ear. You've got to be carefully taught. Everyone froze. Then Eddie got up. He went to the gentleman, asked him what he wanted. The man said, I just wanted a Coke. Eddie went to the redneck behind the counter who could have taken him out with one blow of his fat fist, ordered it, and paid for it, and gave it to the man. Eddie taught me about courage that day. And the African-American man taught me about grace. And what an incredible way to learn that the segregation that I had grown up in and was completely comfortable with was wrong, wrong, wrong. You've got to be taught to be afraid of people whose eyes are oddly made, of people whose skin is a different shade. You've got to be carefully taught. After I arrived in New York City as a young 17-year-old, I was walking by St. Thomas Episcopal Church, and I saw a black woman and a white woman coming out of the church together, arm in arm, in a deep conversation. I had never seen anything like that in my life, and it was such a beautiful sight. So when I went home for Thanksgiving, I was sitting around the table with my parents, my brother and sister. I told my parents about the black woman and the white woman and what a lovely sight it was. My father looked down the table at my mother and said, "Jeanette, our daughter has obviously been taken over by the communists and she is not going back to New York." "Oh, yes, I am, Daddy. I'm going back, period." You've got to be taught before it's too late, before you are 6 or 7 or 8, to hate all the people your relatives hate. You've got to be carefully taught. You've got to be carefully taught. Well, as beautiful as young love is sometimes, Eddie broke up with me. When I asked him why, he said, I wasn't a woman to him. He said, "You're more like this little spirit creature, like an Undine." "What's that?" He said, "It's a character that Audrey Hepburn is playing right now on Broadway." Well, talk about a coincidence. A few days later, the Atlanta Playmakers were holding auditions for the part of Undine. Well, I was Undine. Eddie had told me I was Undine. So, of course, I got the part. And after my parents saw me in the play, they realized that I not only had dancing talent, but I had acting talent. So they drove me to New York City, where my life and career really began. Now, I've done another show where I created the role of Dainty June in Gypsy, so I won't go through those details, but there I was, working with the great and frightening Ethel Merman, and the equally great and equally scary Jerome Robbins. Now, some great artists are welcoming and supportive, and some aren't. Merman and Robbins were not those things. If Merman was nicer, she'd know that I'm here and look me in the eye. We may not like each other at all, but we're stuck here together, so let's at least try. If Merman was nicer, if Robbins was calmer, I'd finally relax and not be so terrified. You never know if it's praise or attacks. You never know if it's Jekyll or Hyde. If Robbins was calmer, Ethel, well, heaven forbid you give me a chance. I'm still just a kid. Robbins, I'm doing the work, so be a director and not such a jerk. Jack Klugman, he was the prince of all princes. If Klugman wasn't so kind, I'd go out of my mind, and I don't think I would stay. I quit this show, and then I would go and do something calm like a nice cabaret. But I gladly retain the lessons I learned then. I wouldn't give it up for the world, and I sure as hell wouldn't do it again. If Merman was nicer and Jerry was stiller, I'd still want to punch him. I'd still want to kill her. No, I wouldn't be willing, but in truth, it was fulfilling. Well, maybe I would. I'm sure I could. If Merman was nicer, if Jerry was nicer, I wouldn't think twice, sir. Yeah, I'd do it again. If Ethel and Jerry, if Merman and Robbins were nicer. I just have to tell you that Michael wrote this. He was parody on it. Okay. Now, get ready for me to take another drink. This is a real showbiz coincidence. After the run of Gypsy, I was cast in a play called Marathon 33. It was written and directed by June Havoc, the real Dainty June. The world was exciting, and all the skies ahead were bright, blue, and sunny. But then, on November of 1963, along with the rest of the country, I found out how quickly sunny skies can turn dark. Has anybody here seen my old friend Abraham? Can you tell me where he's gone? He freed a lot of people, but it seems the good die young. 'Cause I just looked around and he's gone. Has anybody here seen my old friend Martin? Can you tell me where he's gone? He freed a lot of people, but it seems the good die young. And I just looked around and he's gone. Has anybody here seen my old friend John? Can you tell me where he's gone? He freed a lot of people, but it seems the good die young. And I just looked around and he's gone. Didn't you love the things they all stood for? Didn't they try to find some good for you and me? And we'll be free someday. Soon it's gonna be one day. Has anybody here seen my old friend Bobby? Can you tell me where he's gone? I thought I saw him walking up over the hill with Abraham, Martin, and John. darkness, we have to remember that there is light beyond the horizon. And at that point in my life, I fell kind of in love with a man named Lou Antonio. He was an amazing actor, a gentle, wonderful human being. And we had 2 absolutely magnificent daughters, Elkin and Angelique. I absolutely loved being a mother. I remember when Elkin was a baby, I would rock her to sleep, and a little lullaby would just start flowing out of my mouth. I didn't know where the words or the music came from. It just flowed spontaneously from my heart. My little fairy sprites dancing through the night, my dancing sprite by the pale moonlight, flying all around from the trees to the ground, riding on the backs of cute little seahorses, eyes so shining bright, you're the fairy queen's delight, just riding and playing and dancing through the night. It was absolutely wonderful having my children, but that couldn't save my marriage to Lou. Sometimes things just don't work out. But I felt like my whole life was just crumbling, and that was a horrible feeling. But love, like hope, can spring eternal, and I did fall in love again, this time with my ballet partner. He was 6'2" and 21 years younger than me. I did not like that, not one bit. That is not the way it was supposed to be. But Mark and I both shared the love of the fairy tale world and princes and kings and queens and the passion-filled music of Tchaikovsky and Debussy just kept pulling us closer and closer together until every touch was just electric. Elfin meadows beckon, fairy lanterns light the way into this magic fairyland. It's more than let me start again.
Sure.
Elfin meadows beckon, fairy lanterns light the way into our chanted fairy ring to enchant our love to stay. Our feet began to twinkle on drops of pearly dew. My lord of the dance pulled me in, and this moment in time is ours. Elfin meadows beckon, a winged stallion flies above, his majestic body backlit by love. Into the fairy ring he flies, his feet lightly touch the ground. He rears and bugles out his sound to the stars up above. And this moment in time is ours. This winged stallion kneels, he kneels, his head softly to the ground, inviting us into the fairy ring. Its magic meant to bind us fast. We approach the stallion, wild and free. He lets us vault upon his back, then he lifts into the moonlit night. Into the unknown he flies, he flies. Elfin meadows and the fairy ring, they began to fade of astral flight? Can love betray its beauty when flying the unknown? Or will our fears betray us and bring love crashing down in its search for an earthly home? In its search for an earthly home. After washing and freshening my face, I slip back into bed. Your body and silken skin were warm with sleep. Your breath is fresh, your tasseled blonde hair, slightly coarse to my touch. You make a sound and slowly turn to me. I feel your skin, its warm freshness close to mine. We must remember these moments so true. We must remember these moments of love that are found being here with you. And I watch as you open your eyes and you come out of sleep. You smile as you see me staring down at you. Your gentle, strong arms pull me close, and we both feel a rush, a sense of awe that takes our breaths away. I feel your skin, its warm freshness close to mine. We must remember these moments so true. We must remember these moments of love that are found being close to you. You're a strange little creature, you say, and I say, well, that makes you one too. But you're not a small creature at all, and you say that's true. But that just means that there's more of me to love you. And I think through all time and all space, how could this come to be? A love so wonderful could come to me. Did I just say that, or did you? Or do we feel the same? Well, either way, it takes us up above. After all this time, I find sweet love at last. We only have just these moments. And when these moments are through, I will remember these moments, those moments of love that were found being there with you. Every moment of love that was found being there with you. after you've lived long enough, you learn that a bittersweet truth, that the good times and the bad times, neither one of them last. And as Robert Frost so beautifully wrote, nothing gold can stay. And sadly, both Mark and Eddie were one of those golden things. Mark's and my relationship ended, and my heart had to start all over again. So I looked up to the angels, and the angels looked down at me, and sure enough, the sun began to shine again. And this time, my salvation was not another man. It was a horse. I was living in Los Angeles, and a friend of mine introduced me to this breed of horse. They're called Frisians, and they were developed in the Middle Ages. They're big, strong black horses developed in the Middle Ages to carry the knights in their heavy armor into battle. Well, I had found another bouret in my life. But these Frisians are even though they're very, very big, they can dance. And so as I was learning how to ride these horses, and at the same time teaching Goliath, I called him Goliath because he was so big, to dance. And we would rehearse hours together, and it was just a little piece of heaven. And who knew? The sadness of my heart began to lift, and once again, I was saved by a horse. Now, my advice to all you ladies here, men come and go, but horses are forever. So, as Goliath was learning to dance, my life in dance was drawing to a close, and that's a lot to take in. So I dealt with it the only way I knew how. I wrote a musical called Before the Curtain. And my friend and accompanist in Los Angeles wrote the most beautiful, perfect song for it. There's another world I'm longing for, a world that was my special place, filled with tattered point shoes, pain, lots of tears, and memories I can never erase. It was a magic world filled with fairies, princes, and kings, where my imagination could take flight, and how I worked hard to make my arms float so gracefully like wings, reaching long and high to touch the light each night. Can this world of grace and beauty last when time insists on taking its toll? Who can control? Dance has my soul. It used to be that arabesque, tombe, pas de bourrée, and susu were movements that would carry me away, and I could open up a window for all to look through, to see this world of beauty in ballet on display. But time marches on, and here I am, a beginning ballerina again. It's wearing thin, but it's not the end, because I can sing, and I sure love to do that. Give me a man who is handsome and strong, someone who's stalwart and steady. Give me a moment that's romantic and long, and give me a month to get ready. Oh, I could waylay some aging roue and persuade him to play in some cranny. But it's hard to believe I'm being led astray by a man who calls me granny. Oh, it's time to start living, time to start taking from this world we're given, time to take time, so I'll take off my shawl. And watching you fling your flings all over makes me feel young all over in just no time at all. I just want to thank all the people connected with this wonderful church that accepts everybody, loves everybody, nobody is a stranger. And I was really blessed when I found this place, because I don't work very well on the internet, but I actually found this church on the internet and came here and found a home. So I thank you. After a lot of years, I've come to realize that the pain and the pleasure aren't just parts of life. They are life. Day after day, wishing all our cares away, trying to fight the things I feel, but some hurts never heal. Some ghosts are never gone, but we go on. We still go on, and we find some way to survive, and we find out we don't have to be happy at all. To be happy, we're alive. Day after day, give me clouds and rain and gray. Give me pain if that's what's real. It's the price we pay to feel. The price of love is lost, but still we pay. We love anyway. And when the night is finally gone, and when we see the new day dawn, we'll wonder why we wandered for so long, so blind. The wasted world we thought we knew, the light will make it seem brand new. So let it, let it, let it shine. Dites-moi comment Dites-moi comment faire pour l'aimer, pour lui plaire. Grâce à lui, tout a changé. En ces quelques jours, tout a bougé. Le monde est transformé. Je ne suis pas la même. perd en problème. Et pourtant, ce n'est qu'un homme. Et j'ai lu tellement d'hommes de toutes les façons. Il est juste en plus. Faut-il le choquer, le scandaliser, lui parler d'amour, le brutaliser? Je ne comprends rien de cet homme. Je suis dépassée. S'il me disait je t'aime, j'aurais peur de moi-même. Je partirai très loin d'ici, mais je ne penserai qu'à lui pendant toute ma vie. Je l'aime tant. Faut-il le choquer, le scandaliser, lui parler d'amour, le brutaliser? Je ne comprends rien de cet homme. Je suis dépassée. S'il me disait je t'aime, j'aurais peur de moi-même. Je partirai très loin d'ici, mais je ne penserai qu'à lui pendant toute ma vie. Je l'aime tant, j'ai le cœur qui bat tant pour lui. Thank you all. This was so fun.